Welcome to Hello English Teacher. Today let's look at the summary of the chapter Poets and Pancakes from Class 12 English. If you are watching my video for the first time, please subscribe. You can listen to the explanations of chapters from classes 10, 11 and 12 English. And don't forget to press the bell icon so that you get notified whenever I upload a video. Let's go on to the video now. So, Poets and Pancakes is taken from Ashok Mitran's book called My Years with Boss. So, he was a Tamil writer writing about his years in the company. He worked in the Gemini Studios and his duty was to cut out newspaper clippings on a wide variety of subjects and preserve them in files. Gemini Studio was located in Madras or Chennai. Filmmaking was in its infancy in India. Ashok Mitran writes humorously in a rambling style. So now let's look at the summary of the chapter Poets and Pancakes. So the Gemini Studio was located in Madras and now Madras is known as Chennai. So the writer tells us about various experiences that he had while working at the Gemini Studio. First he talks about the makeup department, and this makeup department was located in the first floor of a building, and that building was believed to be Robert Clive's stables. Then he is talking about the Pancake. Now Pancake is nothing but the brand name of the makeup material used by the artists in the Gemini Studio. So the makeup room had the look of a hair cutting salon with incandescent lights at all angles around half a dozen large mirrors. The writer speaks about the fear and misery of those subjected to makeup. So what is incandescent light? Incandescent light means lights that emit heat if it was switched on for a long time. So he says that the actors who sat there for makeup had to suffer a lot because of these lights and large mirrors and all that. So he says that it is very difficult for these people to sit there and have their makeup done. Then he says that there was a great deal of national integration in the department and a strict hierarchy was maintained there. Why national integration? Because the makeup department was headed by various people. So first it was a Bengali, followed by a Maharashtrian, then came a Kannadiga, then somebody from Andhra Pradesh, then a Madras Indian Christian, and then an Anglo-Burmese and all that. So all these people from various parts of India headed the makeup department. So that's why he says that there was a great deal of national integration and it followed a strict hierarchy. What is hierarchy? A particular order was maintained in the makeup department. So what is this hierarchy followed here? It says that the chief makeup man made the chief actors and actresses ugly. His senior assistant, the second hero and the heroine, the junior assistant, the main comedian, and the responsibility of the crowd was that of the office boy. And when I say office boy, it is not a boy, it is somebody who is in his early 40s, and he is often a frustrated person who turned all his anger towards one person called as Kotamangalam Subbu. So the author or Ashok Mitran's job was to cut newspaper clippings and store them in files. So most of the people, including the office boy, all thought that there was no job or he did no work at all. That is, they thought that Ashoka Mitran was jobless. And S.S. Vasan was known as the boss because he was the owner of the studios. He was also the editor of the Tamil weekly called Ananta Vikatan. Now Kotamangalam Subbu, he was the number 2 at the studios. That means after the boss, the most important person was Kotamangalam Subbu because he was born a Brahmin and he had the ability to be happy at all times and he could easily be inspired and he could also be commanded. And he was tailor made for films. That means he was exactly suitable for films because he was always resourceful. He had a separate identity as a poet and an actor and a genuine love for brothers. He was charitable and was always seen with the boss. So this made him very important person next to the boss in the Gemini Studios. Now, the story department had a group of poets and writers. They were all followers of Gandhi and they all wore khaki all the time. Another person very important in the story department was the lawyer, who was also known as the legal advisor. So, once what happened, he was responsible for the end of the brilliant career of a talented actress. So, what he did one day, as the shooting was going on, and the actress who was not in a good mood, she started screaming and shouting. So, what he did was he switched on the recording instrument and all her tantrums got recorded and he played it back to her. So, after hearing that, even the producer and everybody sent that actress out. So, that was the end of the career. So, he was responsible for the end of the career of this brilliant actress. Now, this man, he was a man of cold logic and he was very close to the boss. He wore pants and coats. He did not wear khadi unlike the other writers, and he lost his job when the story department was closed down. He too took a movie which did not work out well. So, that was the end of his career as well. So, Gemini Studio was a favorite spot of all these poets and writers. They used to gather there for having a cup of coffee because there was a mess which supplied good coffee all the time. And all these poets and writers, they were followers of Gandhi and they liked to wear khadi clothes as well. But one thing that is common in all these were they were all averse to communism. They hated communism because all the communists were godless people. Another important event in Gemini Studio was the visit of the MRA or the Moral Rearmament Army with some 200 people who visited the Gemini Studios. Now these people, they had presented two plays. One is The Forgotten Factor and second one is the Jotham Valley, which was in a very professional manner, and the Madras people and the Tamil drama community were impressed by these two plays. And they were so impressed that most of the Tamil plays had a scene of sunrise or sunset in the manner of the Jotham Valley. Another important event in the history of Gemini Studio was a visitor from England. He was a tall man, very English, and addressed a more dazed and silent audience. That means when he came to visit Gemini Studios, he had addressed the gathering. So the people were more dazed and they were totally silent because they could not clearly understand what he spoke because of his accent. So they feel that they did not know why he had come there. So the staff of the Gemini Studio still thinks that his visit is a mystery till that day. So they don't know whether he was a poet or an editor. So they don't know why he visited Gemini Studios. Ashokamitran then comes across a competition of short story writing competition organized by a British periodical called The Encounter. So he wanted to know more about it, so he went to the British Council Library and he found the magazine called The Encounter, which is not touched by readers at all. So when he opened the book, he discovered that Stephen Spender was the editor's name. So when he saw the name, he again recollected that this name or this was the person or the man from England, the tall Englishman who had visited the Gemini Studios. So he felt happy while writing out his name and address, and he also thought in his mind that Stephen Spender would be happy reading out his name because he had visited Gemini Studios some time ago. So after some years, he left his job at the Gemini Studios. He says that he had a lot of time but not much money. So one day while walking on the Madras Mount Road, he saw some newly printed books, a pile of new books on the footpath. So they were cost only 50 paise each, and these books cost very less because of the 50th anniversary of the Russian Revolution. So he paid 50 paise and he picked up the book. So the book's name is The God That Failed. So what is special about this book? So in this book there were 6 essays separately written by 6 writers, and all of them describe their journey into communism and their disillusioned return. And one of the writers was Stephen Spender. So, this is the second time that he is coming across the name of Stephen Spender. So, Ashokamitran says that the moment he read the name, his mind was lit up by illumination. That means his dark mind was lit up by this illumination. That means he understood why Stephen Spender had visited Gemini Studios. He says that it is no longer a mystery because Stephen Spender was averse to communism, and similarly, the people at the Gemini Studios were also averse to communism. So now he says that it is no longer a mystery as to why Stephen Spender visited Gemini Studios. And he also says that the boss of Gemini Studios, that is S.S. Vasan, may not have much to do with Spender's poetry, but not with his God that failed. So I hope you like this video. For more informative videos, do subscribe to Hello English Teacher. Like, share and give your valuable comments below. Thank you for watching.